About 10 years ago, I felt God call me into the profession of law enforcement. And a few years back, I was working as a criminal investigator and was called in the middle of the night to a pretty horrific scene in which a young child suffered a great deal of physical abuse. A couple days later, the child lost her life. And we prayed that God would provide peace through this process. And it wasn't until a few months later that Laura brought the idea to us of fostering. And then whenever she did that, I remember saying over and over to myself during the interrogation process with this child's offender that if this child had just been in better care, if she had been with someone who could have given her the loving home that she deserved, she'd still be alive today.
I think that the Lord used that case and that child's life to open our eyes to the abuse that might be happening in homes that you might not even expect. And for us, we began to pray about it. We contacted Baptist Children's Homes just to really get some information. I would say once we got there, it was so apparent to us that the Lord, that's where He wanted us to be.
Probably the hardest thing that we have faced during this process is saying goodbye. Each child that comes into our home becomes part of our family. Our first foster child was part of this church family. Everyone in the We Worship area knew her and loved on her just like she was one of our own. And she was with us practically from birth to about 18 months. And that was a growing process for our family. God really stretched us and gave us the opportunity to follow through with this calling. Saying goodbye to her was difficult, but we knew that it was all part of God's plan.
I think that if the Lord calls you to this, He will provide the strength to say goodbye. And God just really opened my eyes that these children, even your biological children, they're His. They belong to Him. And if you lift them up daily to the Lord, He will provide the strength.
Not all children that are in foster care have come into care as a result of negligence on the parents' behalf or criminal activity or other things of that nature. Sometimes the parents realize that they're not in a position to care for their children, and they make a very hard decision and know that the child might be in a better home by giving the child up for adoption or foster care. There's a great mission field here in our own backyard. There are families that are struggling with drug addiction, alcohol abuse, or even physical abuse, in which children desperately need a family to cling to embrace. And I think as a church family, we should be eager and willing to go out there and serve in this mission field.